على أشرف الأنبياء وسيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم أنزل علينا حكمتك وانشر علينا رحمتك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. This is a book to be read, and it's simply to understand al-ashkhas, people who are thoughtful and thinking and happen to be Muslim and happen in this case to be a woman. This type of literature, again, I am a teacher. I'm simply a teacher, a shepherd, a lover of truth, a person who loves to be kind and to share and to speak about ideas so that young people can become more successful or more in tune or sharper in their thinking and ability to decide clearly on different issues and to understand one another. لِتَعَارَفُوا. That's part of the intent of God's creation. So with that, I'm going to read this book. It's Linda Sarsour's writing regarding co-organizing the Women's March, sharing how growing up as a Palestinian Muslim American who considers herself a feminist empowered her to move and become globally recognized and activating on behalf of marginalized communities that exist in the United States or even abroad. So I'm simply going to read this book. I'm going to let everyone decide for themselves what they think or they don't. This is an open halaqa, which is an open circle for anyone who wants to listen to me or other teachers who will sit with me or with students who want to learn. The intent of creation is to either be a teacher or a learner, and that could be في العمل في القول أو في النيات, in active work. أعمل آل داود شكرا وقليل من عبادي الشكور. This is a act of gratitude, a gesture of gratitude, an intention to be grateful for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that everyone has the ability to understand the world as it truly is. Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'ah. Allahumma ij'alna min alladhina yastami'una al-qawl fayattabi'una ahsana. On a chilly spring morning in Brooklyn, 19-year-old Linda Sarsour started at her reflection as she dressed in hijab for the first time. She saw in the mirror the person that she was growing up to be, a young Muslim American woman, unapologetic in her faith and her activism, who would discover her innate sense of justice after and in the aftermath of 9/11. Now heralded for her award-winning leadership of the Women's March on Washington, Linda Sarsour offers a poignant story of community and family in this literature, which says we are not here to be bystanders. So I'll go ahead and skip a little bit just for the sake of brevity and the ability to understand what she is saying and not just what people say about her. In one of my favorite stories from the Hadith, a man was asked the beloved Prophet Muhammad, what is the best form of jihad? I have always loved the Prophet's answer, a word of truth in front of a tyrant ruler or rulers or leaders. That is the best form of jihad, the best form of struggle for the truth. For her, this call to a peaceful yet courageous action expresses our highest human responsibility to care for one another by showing up and speaking out for the voiceless amongst us. It's a call that she believes is especially crucial in these times. And it still is true today, almost 10 years or close to 20 years as we keep moving forward. She shared this story when she gave a keynote address at the Islamic Society of North America's 54th annual convention in Chicago in July 2017. After recounting for the audience the words of her beloved Prophet, may peace be upon him, she went on to observe that in standing against oppression or those who are downtrodden or those who are regulated to the sidelines or those who are forgotten and so on in our communities, we are struggling against or as some would say, the outliers. We are struggling against tyrants and rulers not only abroad in the Middle East or in other sides or places in the world, however, in the United States of America, where we may have fascists or we may have white supremacists or may have Islamophobes who are establishing power within the establishment. As a Palestinian American woman addressing a hotel ballroom full of fellow Muslims, all of who understood the context and the meaning of the story that she told, she wasn't trying to be provocative. Standing at that podium, she could sense that her words were resonating, that she was giving the right message to the right people at the right time. And this is a truly wonderful understanding of the truth. لِكُلِّ مَقَامٍ مَقَالٍ, that we understand context and live by the truths that are necessary for speaking in a way or living in a way that is contextually healing, contextually beneficial to all of those around us and ourselves. The feeling in that room was galvanizing, speaking truth to power, yes. I flew home to Brooklyn the next morning, looking forward to a short hiking trip in the cold springs of New York that I planned to take with 3 teenage children and my nephew. The following Tuesday was July the 4th. And I observed our country's birthday with my extended family, sharing a meal together, just like countless other families across the United States of America did. I finally fell into bed past midnight, putting my cell on Do Not Disturb, because texts from a group chat about local political campaigns I was working on kept pinging on her phone. I'll catch up in the morning, she thought. And I'll stop there. Again, this is simply a passage of a person who happens to be Muslim, happens to be a woman in the United States, expressing her understanding of the world as it is, a necessary understanding in context. And I'll keep reading and teaching, because that is what my teachers, both in university settings and in spiritually licensed settings, have instructed me to do. I pray Allah accepts it. Above all, God told us to speak about the truth, to teach the truth, to love the truth, and ندعو إلى سبيل ربنا بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة ونجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن, to speak in a way that is appropriate and kind and loving and healing and prevents the greater harms in society and ourselves and brings about a more loving, stronger truth. اللهم اغفر لنا واجبرنا وعافينا وارزقنا وارفعنا واهدينا. اللهم افرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على كل عدو لي ولك. اللهم اجعلنا رحمة للعالمين لتم مكارم الأخلاق ونخرج الخلق من الظلمات إلى النور ونغفر ونستغفر للذين لا يرجون أيام الله ليجزيهم الله بما كانوا يعملون أو يتوب عليهم. إن عرضت الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبوا أن يحملوها وحملها الإنسان إن كنا ظالمين أو جاهلين. ليعذب الله المنافقين والمنافقات والمشركين والمشركات وتوب الله على المؤمنين والمؤمنات. So this is testaments I'll read from other writers and people who support her work. A testament to the power of love in action, a fierce, courageous, joyous love for all people of all religions, genders, races, and backgrounds that reaches across all borders and boundaries. If you're wondering what kind of activism holds the potential to free us all, this is the book. And this is from a New York Times bestseller of The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. Sarsur's memoir challenges every stereotype about Muslim women, uncovers dangerous biases and stereotypes against Muslim Americans, and teaches readers how to organize for justice and kindness in our own life or in our own lives. This is a rare book that leaps off the page into the hearts, and that's Gloria Steinem. This book, written the senior minister of Middle Collegiate Church, he states, Reverend Lewis, that's Jacqueline J. Lewis, this is not only the beautifully written memoir of an extraordinary leader and movement builder. We are not here to be bystanders. It is also a deeply moving and urgent call to love and activism. From her Palestinian grandmother to her parents to the people in her Brooklyn neighborhood, Mr. Belafonte her children and her sister friends in the movement, Linda's life speaks to the ways we become who we are in relationship to others. The memoir, like the woman, is intelligent, courageous, candid, vulnerable, and warm. Linda, who is unapologetically Muslim, is a powerful ally to all who suffer injustice. Her faith demands it of her. Her memoir inspires the reader to take their own steps towards a life of resistance and love, to persist, insist, resist. People of all faiths, all backgrounds, anyone who believes in human potential should read this book. Anyone who believes in human potential should read this book and join Linda in the urgent project of liberation and justice. This is Patrice Khan-Kalours, New York Times best-selling author. When you find that this is also the co-founder of the Black Lives Matter movement. Sarsour's memoir reminds us of the humanity of the Palestinian people who've been stripped of certain dignities. She reminds us that her fight for our people is a fight for those who are at the margins, or those who are outliers, or those who are forgotten or downtrodden. It is a grace, a spiciness that can only arrive from someone, in this case, raised in Brooklyn. This book is a must-read for all ages across the world. أقول قول هذا واستغفر لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات فاستغفروا يا فوز المستغفرين. Again, it's worth reading a book to understand the world as it truly is, and to understand and increase our love and kindness for those who may be forgotten or may be struggling in their own life. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.